All right. So my name is Faiz. I work here as Associate Director of Engineering in GeekyAnts. Right. We have, like as Masuki told, we have been having lots of like different kinds of meetup in GeekyAnts. Like technology specific, I would say like React Native. Onto the backend side, we have done different things. But this is our first meetup for DevOps. Right. So we are excited and we are a bit, I would say, nervous about it. So let's get to it. Like. Before we start off with this thing, can anyone just explain me like how would you define a DevOps? Like, is there a definition that you guys know, or if you have to explain it to somebody who doesn't understand DevOps, what would you say? Yeah, man.
Sir, DevOps is a sir DevOps is a sir DevOps is a drive from sir two words. Sir, dev plus operation. मतलब development plus operation. Sir, where we can sir one side we can develop the codes and second side the operations, which means the developers write the code or they built it and it performs in the servers.
All right, cool. Anyone feel like adding something to it? All right. I have a definition prepared for you guys. So DevOps, I think, is a culture and is a technical movement actually, right? Which basically is trying to like bridge a gap between developers and the operations team. So the thing is like DevOps does is DevOps will automate the processes for software development as well as IT operation teams, where you don't have to like specifically reach out to our IT operations guy or a software developer guy to like bridge like to discuss about a specific deployment or something like that. So this is what I feel like is a definition for DevOps. So yeah, that's it. So as I said earlier, like it's a collaboration, it's a communication and an integration. When it comes to like cross function, like cross team discussion, we all know like we have a bit of something where like we miss out or misunderstand or something bad happens and it might affect our production applications or different kinds of like environments. So that's what DevOps does for us. Like it provides you a platform where you can collaborate, communicate, and integrate different things. So this is the core principle where DevOps will automate, it will provide you a continuous integration, and it will also give you a continuous deployment process, right? So that's all DevOps is. If it is come to like drill down to a specific 2 to 3 words, I would say automation, CI, and CD. That's what DevOps is. So now we will say, see what is the evaluation, how DevOps has evaluated in the time. Like I remember, like in 2000s, I would say this agile development came into the picture. So does anyone know like what is agile development? Like use my
I mean, in simple layman words, it means continuous improvement of a product at any time. Keep
yeah.
iteration of the product. So,
Yeah, that's correct. Like it provided us like a strategy to really create as like minor and major releases of our applications, right? So that's what agile development did. But in mid, I would say 2002, 2005, CI came into the picture where it started providing us an option to like integrate our agile development. So agile development was just like you develop and test and then release, which was still a manual process by then. There was a strategy, but there was no automation provided. So CI came into the picture, the rise of CI. So again, I just want to interact with you guys. So anyone, CI, what is CI? Yeah, speak up. That's totally all right, man. Anyone? All right, cool. No worries. So CI is basically like integration. Let's say we have a product and the developer has pushed something, right? And now we want to test all those things, but we do not want to like bother somebody to like test all those things. So we automate and provide a platform like a strategy called CI, where we will just push into a pipeline and it will test whether this is a releasable product, whether we can like proceed with this and stuff like this, right? So basically, like you will have a QA or you can have a continuous integration pipeline. Then came into the picture development. Now, since we have an agile development process, we have a continuous integration process. Why not build something which will also deploy, right? Why wait till CI? Like why end there? So CD came into the picture, continuous development, and there's one more thing. Well, it was like continuous delivery. So continuous development was like just another way of deploying a project. Now, still CI, we were not deploying our project. We were like doing a manual process of deployment. It was just that we were like looking at the statuses of integration, and if it was fine, depending upon the strategies and everything, people were deploying the project manually. So continuous development came into the picture. People started using continuous development pipeline. There are lots of tools available right now. Can you people like tell me what are the CD tools that you guys are using right now? Jenkins, Ansible, okay, Ansible. Cool. Yeah, it is a way. All right, let's move on. Now, since we have CI, CD, so basically we have a total automation pipeline available where software developer would just push, and internally our automation pipeline will test, it will deploy, right? So we have a like I think in 2010 microservices architecture came into it came into picture. Lots of people were using microservices architecture where the thing was like you can like deploy small services on a different server and use them as a single front using an API gateway or ingress controller, something like that, right? So microservices came, and along with microservices, so like the need for CI/CD started emerging more. Like people were like more interested in using microservices architecture, and this is why like DevOps came in. Like DevOps was in the picture now. Developers were interested in DevOps. So I think microservices has given our DevOps culture. But, DevOps, I would say, for DevOps, sorry, I'm nervous a bit. So if microservices actually gave us like a way to use CI/CD pipelines. So people started understanding and knowing about DevOps. What is DevOps? Because before like all these things, this IT operations was like way too typical, and people were like most of the developers avoided. Still, we have some people who will avoid, but now we have like a proper DevOps culture, containerization and orchestration. So in 2000, I guess 11 or 12, Docker announced containerization and orchestration. Containerization was nothing but like you can put up a microservice or an application you in a container and host that container on a server, right? So stuff like containerization or orchestration came into the picture. For orchestration, has anyone used anything beyond Kubernetes? Anyone? Cool. So now since we have all these things, DevOps and cloud computing, they started like working together like DevOps. We have cloud computings where you can buy cloud servers, which are basically it could be a virtual private server or virtual private server, or it could be a bare metal server, but it can reside on a cloud servers. Then we have now see we are seeing AI and ML, right? There's after ChatGPT has announced like there are lots of softwares and tools. People are now utilizing AI and ML, and the DevOps teams has also started evaluating and seeing how we can improve our DevOps using AI and ML. Like I would give you an example, like depending upon the score of CI, let's say I have a Sonar cube server, right, integrated, and if it gives me 75 to 80%, and depending upon the type of errors or warnings that I have got, I can like use AI to understand all those things and send me a proper report what went wrong, or if it is good to deploy. And then if we have like properly deployed machine learnings and everything, then we can also let it decide whether it want to deploy the server for our users or not. So that's how the DevOps has evaluated. Uh, the evolution of DevOps has happened from my perspective. So yeah, that's it. So how GeekyAnts is taking part in it, as I told you earlier, like we have lots of things. Like we have been like doing lot when it comes to containerization or orchestration, we are using Docker and Kubernetes purely. Like we have used like mostly all the applications are now Dockerized, and we for orchestration of these containers we mostly go with Kubernetes. For automating CI and CD pipelines, we have Jenkins, we have GitLab CI, we have self-hosted GitLab CI actually at GeekyAnts. So we use that. We have Bitbucket CI, GitHub Workflows, and Vercel. Vercel is basically a tool which would just like you don't have to define anything. It would just ask you to connect your version control and internally manages everything. But since it is a CI/CD pipeline, we have mentioned it here. And then for infrastructure as a code, we are using Terraform, Ansible, Puppet, and Chef. And for monitoring and logging, the basics Prometheus and Grafana, and ELK stack. Then for deploying we have AWS, Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, and OpenNebula. Does anyone know what is OpenNebula? Yeah. So what it does, like if you have to explain it in a layman terms of for others. All right. So anyone else that would like to add? Pratik, I see you here. No, go ahead. Yeah. So we like GeekyAnts is now working like using OpenNebula. We have our in-house data center, and we are using OpenNebula to create our virtual servers, and these virtual servers are getting deployed. So that's what OpenNebula is doing for us. And as I told you, like we are planning on like creating our own data centers. Pratik is our managing director, and he's working on it since a long time now. So there's that. Apart from all these things, is there anything that you guys would like to add? Like it should be here, but I haven't read it. This is what GeekyAnts is using it right now. But any service, yeah, man. Heroku, yeah. Yeah, actually. Thank you for pointing out. All right, so yeah, Heroku as well. Anything else? Yeah, SonarQube is like a CI. Yeah, we can say it does. Anything else? Sorry, Sona, can you give him his mic? I can't.
Argo CD.
Arco CD. I haven't heard about it.
Ah.
What is it?
It's a CI/CD pipeline.
All right, cool. All right, so is it an open source tool or like?
Yes.
All right, cool. Acha, I haven't like heard about it, so I had to know about it. Cool, man. All right, so this is like we have our we are partnering with a lot of companies now. We can, so Versal is one of them. So we have a collaboration with Versal, Hasura, and GitHub, right? So I will go back to Versal. Versal is basically now has become an ecosystem. Previously, it was just a Next.js technology. Like they were using Next.js. It was an open source. You can create your React applications, and there was a way to provide you like server-side rendering of your React components, right? So basically, you can like send your React components from the server side onto the browser. So but now Versal has evolved, and they have now an entire infrastructure where they also provide CI/CD pipelines where you don't have to do anything, just integrate your project with the GitHub and it will automatically deploy, right? So we are using it Versal, and we are now like partnership with Versal as well. Hasura. Has anyone heard about Hasura here? Cool. How would you explain it? Yeah.
So, so if you have a say a Postgres database with and Hasura is basically like something you can put in front of your DB that'll automatically generate and like you can almost like a GraphQL API for you to directly interface with your DB itself.
Yeah. So so basically Hasura, as he explained, like Hasura is basically a middle platform, I would say, not a middleware, which basically when you create a table using Hasura's platform or a console, it will create that table into the Postgres, but it will provide you GraphQL endpoints for those tables as well. So basically, you have avoided creating APIs or GraphQL APIs for your table, right? So that's what Hasura does. Hasura also comes with an enterprise solution where they provide some optimizations, but most of the stuffs are open source. So collaborating with the Hasura, we are sponsoring them, and then we have GitHub. So our all open source projects are on GitHub, and we are now like in partnership with GitHub as well. I think most of us now know GitHub, so I don't have to ask it. No, we are using enterprise for us like private repositories, but mostly like our all open source projects are used like on GitHub. All right, let's see like what we have scheduled here. So we have like I think sequence has been like changed. So I would just tell you like we have Srinivas Gowda, and he's gonna like you can read it. They're setting up a home lab, right? from bare metal to a fully functional server. So he's gonna like enlighten us on that topic. Then we have Robin Biju Thomas. He's gonna like talk about things developer needs to know about DevOps. I think Robin would go first, then Srinivas would go after Robin. And then we have Kuldeep Pisda, who is going to talk about securing web-based applications on platform with proper response headers. So there's that. Then we have Aditya Prakash, and he is going to talk about deploying an application to Firecracker micro VM infra, right? So that's what we have planned right now. So let's get to it. Yeah, that's all.